This is a special broadcast because what happened last night was nothing less than a very historic moment. You had the passing of the torch, as it were, that took place right there in New York, New Jersey. This special segment is going to focus only on the Spanish Armada's conquering of the world. We'll talk about how this is could be Lionel Messi's last dance and what does this mean for world football. We'll decode every phase of the game. Why was it such a lackluster performance? Did Scaloni's substitutions not give in? Because every World Cup and the final particularly, it promises history. And very few, however, deliver a performance that feels like a culmination of an idea that has been years in the making. Today is going to be about one of those nights on that grand stage. 16 years after a generation led by Xavi, Iniesta, Casillas, Sergio Ramos, Jesus Navas, by the way, David Villa, they were all sitting in the stadium. They collectively changed the way the world looked at football. Spain have climbed back to the summit of the game once again. Another star on their jerseys. And they are world champions once again, not by abandoning their identity, but by trusting it completely, bringing it to the fore yet again. This was a victory that was built on patience, on precision, complete control against the defending champions. And you have the likes of magical Messi on the other side as well. 1-0 was the score, 105th minute goal that was scored by Ferran Torres, 90 plus third minute red card for Enzo Fernandez that rendered the Argentinian side with just 10 men. And Spain never looked rushed. Look at the stats for yourselves. They never drifted away from their own style. And that has defined football for generations. They monopolized possession, dictated the tempo and how, and gradually squeezed second by second the life out of an Argentinian side that simply never found a way to impose itself on the contest. Ferran Torres, he scored the winner, 106th minute. Lionel Messi arrived hoping to script one of the final chapters in an extraordinary international career. Let's not take anything away from the magical man. Instead, he found himself chasing shadows for much of the evening as Spain's relentless pressing and intelligent movement denied Argentina both time and space even before Enzo Fernandez's red card reduced the defending champions. And some of those visuals from that night will tell you the same about how this was a silky smooth performance. The moment the trophy is lifted off by Rodri, all the major awards, the Golden Glove, the Golden Ball and the youngest player of the tournament going to the Spanish side. This was a very young team. And Donald Trump, of course, with Infantino, delivering that trophy, the big piece of the day to the Spanish side. Spain had established complete control over the biggest game in football, without a doubt. Argentina survived because Emi Martinez, what a tall man, what a huge figure, produced save after save. It was the same in 2022 against France. It was the same against Netherlands in the quarterfinals in Qatar as well, keeping their hopes alive long enough to force extra time. But with that 10-man disadvantage, it was only a matter of time. It was only a matter of when and not if. And that picture, that embrace, Lionel Messi hugging Lamine Yamal, two generations. One thinking about his last dance and one he's barely put on his dancing shoes. Number 19 is his jersey. His age is 19. He's already won the Euro Cup. He's already won the World Cup. But there is only so long a team can defend against a wave after wave of pressure, and I think that's exactly what happened in New York, New Jersey. When the breakthrough finally came in the 106th minute, it was a goal that perfectly reflected everything Spain had produced throughout the tournament. Pedro Porro's delivery, Nico Williams' awareness to head the ball back across the goal, and Ferran Torres arriving at exactly the right moment to score the goal that will now be forever remembered in Spanish football history. The scoreline, it may have only read 1-0, but it scarcely reflects Spain's dominance. The defending champions barely threatened the Spanish goal. And for long stretches, mind you, for the 90 minutes, there was no shot on target. Can you believe it? This is one side that was known for its defense, having conceded just one goal in the 7 World Cup matches. We're talking about Spain. And the other side, Argentina, death-defying thrillers in the run-up to the finals. A team that had an XG of 2.17. It felt less like a World Cup final and more like a tactical masterclass between Del Fuente and Scaloni. How to control a football match. And perhaps that is the biggest takeaway from that night. That wasn't simply a team that won a World Cup. It was the emergence of another remarkable Spanish generation, Lamine Yamal, Pedri, Cubarsí, Nico Williams, Ferran Torres. They've now etched their names into history, even as David Villa, Puyol, Sergio Ramos, the entire team, Iker Casillas. I mean, the list goes on and on. They were sitting and watching, carrying forward a legacy that began with Spain's golden generation back in 2010. And right now on this special segment, we've got some credible voices. We'll introduce them in just a bit. We will look beyond that winning goal. We'll analyze how Spain completely neutralized Argentina and why Lionel Scaloni's side never found an answer, even though he is the main man, he's the strategy man, he knows exactly what's happening. He's playing with the mind of the other managers. And whether this new Spanish team deserves a comparison with the great champions of 2010, even as Xavi Hernandez and everybody was looking down on them from their VIP boxes. And what this defeat means now for Lionel Messi, as his extraordinary World Cup journey appears to have reached its final chapter, or maybe 4 years from now, when he's 43, if I'm not wrong, he maybe gets on the pitch again. Spain have reclaimed the football's biggest prize. There's no denying that. The main award is on your screens. And in doing so, they have reminded the world that sometimes the most powerful idea in sport is simply having the courage to stay true to your own identity. With us on the broadcast are three very credible voices. Let me introduce you to them. Zishan Khan, you all know him by Talk Football HD. Many thanks for taking out the time. We also have Talk Football HD's co-content creator, Shamek Ansari. I know it's been a long night, guys, but hang in there for just a few more hours. And we have Mr. Mahavir Rawat, sports journalist. The man needs no introduction. Many thanks, Mr. Rawat. I know we were talking about Rohit Sharma last time around and what a knock it was at Lord's, but this time, let's shift our focus. Let's focus on these World Cup moments. What an immaculate moment. Zishan, first and foremost, I mean, we'll come to Argentina. I can see Shamik's wearing the Spain jersey, you're wearing the Argentinian jersey, and for a neutral perspective, I know who to go to. But Zishan, first and foremost, can you take anything away from that superior masterclass in the midfield? I mean, it was that diamond formation with Enzo, with, you had McAllister. It was almost like a Liverpool versus, Chelsea's Cucurella. You had Manchester City's Rodri. It was a proper Monday night football clash that was taking place. But to stop those central lanes was something that Argentina could never do. Olmo with his quick turns. Lamine Yamal was being double teamed, but he was still coming up with the goods. He said, all right, you want to put your attention on me? Start throwing balls on the other side. What exactly happened? What is your assessment here? Many thanks for taking up the time and speaking to us here on this FIFA special.
Great to be here. First of all, huge congratulations to Spain. By the way, they are the deserved winner in today's game. And you're talking about them finding the spaces, and this is what Argentina has been. They has been all over the places. In the past 4 matches that we have seen, they're going into the knockout round, one after the other. Every single game you see Argentina showing up in the later parts of the stages. While they were hugely competed by all of these teams. Tonight was a different game. I do not want to call this game as a match because in no ways this was a match on a pitch. Argentina did not show up to play football. There was only one team that was playing football, and that was Spain. And they had got Argentina by the balls. In every single scenario, whenever Argentinian players used to get the balls, we know how good of a player is Enzo Fernandez when he gets on the ball. McAllister as well in the build-up play. Paredes when he later came on in the second half. All of those passing lanes were so efficient and so easily, should I say, cut off by the relentless work rate of Fabian Ruiz, Rodri. You have to give the credit to Olmo and the dropping Oyarzabal, who was playing as
an Argentinian fan, what was going through your mind? I mean, I can understand if you were getting frustrated, but you also know that the team wakes up late. Even after the 105th minute goal, you could not have written off Argentina. If there was another goal coming, people would have taken it. They would have believed it.
Absolutely. See, there could have been a moment where Simeone could have blasted that similar kind of shot that Ferran Torres scored. It may have been a 1-1 and maybe they would take the game to penalties. But after that red card, I seriously lost all kinds of hope. I felt like it's now or never for Spain. And you know what I said after the game when it all happened, it finished, Spain actually won. I said if you conduct the game another 10 times, Spain will win the next 10 times. There's not going to be even a
Yeah.
single scenario in which playing like this, Argentina can win. Spain were deserved winner. Talk about the game that Rodri had. Ferran Torres, what a statement. What a redemption from the guy who was suffering from mental problems and all. He went off football, tried to get the strength
Yeah.
inside him, and then he comes off and does that. Absolutely beaten, thoroughly beaten, disappointing from Argentina. Obviously, there's a whole context of Lionel Messi's last game. We wanted, as Argentina fans, to see him leave the best of the best levels with the FIFA World Cup. There's more of a disappointment of Messi leaving rather than Argentina losing as a true Leo Messi fan. But
Yeah.
then you cannot take anything away from this Spain performance because they were so good. You play
You're
the next
absolutely
games
right. You just
10
can't
times,
do it.
they're
You
going to
just
win
can't do
10.
it. I think the operative part that you've said, Zishan, is the fact that if this match had been replayed 10 times, we know who would have come out there on top. All right, then, before we bring in the Spanish perspective, let me bring in Mr. Rawat. Mr. Rawat, did you watch the match? What was your opinion? I mean, the entire world is now aghast with headlines that are talking about Ferran Torres, that are talking about Lamine Yamal, that are talking about this new generation of Spanish team that has now come to the fore.
Yeah, and I was one of the generation who really loved watching when Xavi was there. Iniesta was one of my favorite players who I
My
used to
apologies for
really.
not taking Iniesta's name. He was actually the World Cup
Yeah,
winner. He was the goal
I-
scorer.
yeah, exactly. So Iniesta, I mean, but it's not you. The world has not been fair to Iniesta, so it's okay. I understand that. But as far as a neutral fan, to be very honest, I was neither supporting Spain or Argentina, but the kind of game that Spain had shown, and just look at the opposition that they had beaten, and especially against Belgium that they had played. I was really impressed with the way they played against Belgium. Okay, France again they didn't show up on that day. The victory against France was very good, but the way and the teams that they have beaten, they played absolutely flawless. And they say, your luck always runs out sometime if you are going to play by luck. And right from the day when they were fighting against Cabo Verde, then what happened against Egypt? I mean, come on, Egyptians were also praying, right? So it's in the end, it was all fair, and the best team definitely won. And I would have been little disappointed had Argentina won because the refereeing, the kind of calls, the kind of luck that had been favoring Argentina was going too much on their way. So sometime it had to run out.
Well, you know what, Mr. Rawat? That's a very good point that you've brought on. I was thinking we'll, warm up at least before I bring in the refereeing part. Actually, you know what? Let's take our opening, comments from the Spanish supporter here. We've got Shamik Ansari, co-content creator at Talk Football HD. I know it's been a long, long night, but how do you feel? We've seen Zishan celebrate all those times, but Shamik, it was finally a night for you as well, it seems like.
Yeah, absolutely. I think starting this World Cup campaign when Spain started, everybody thought that they would be blasting it off like the 2024 Euros. That they started with a perfect setup, a good team where they which plays simple football with two winger setup. Everybody knows what the role and the job and responsibilities are there. But the opening game against Cabo Verde shocked everyone that it seems like this could be a different story. But
Cabo Verde
that
shocked
is
Argentina also, pretty much did the job.
exactly. So that was a Cabo Verde story coming out from this
Yeah.
World Cup altogether. But as this tournament, I think, went on by stages, by matches, we got to see the real, again, the Spanish side coming up with a lot of youngsters, bringing in that talent with experienced team, with an experienced manager coming up with this bunch of lads who fondly call the youngsters, calling him their father, the
Yeah, he was
father
the
and
father
the
figure. That's what Peter
yeah.
Drury kept on saying last night. And I was thinking that it's so important for this connect to be there because he's literally groomed them from a very young age. And that's important.
Absolutely, and this is where I think the coaching works. Where we saw how a good coached, I can say it outrightly, this was the best coached side we have seen for the past three World Cups. So I think this is the biggest takeaway that we can take from a Spanish side who just came in, went ruthless, played simple football, and won the World Cup.
You see, we've got some reactions as well. We've got, but before I play out those reactions, we've got reactions from the coaches, and it was a proper party inside the bus. Take a look at visuals from the Times Square. United States, it did not see a goal in the 1994 World Cup also in the first 90 minutes. Neither did that happen this time around, and if it wasn't for that red card, maybe this was going all the way. And that is something that Argentina was banking on because with the removal of, their number 9 striker later on in the game, putting in all your defensive midfielders. And when Paredes basically came in, the game's dynamic changed a little bit. A little bit of, rough element came into the fray. Would you say so, Zishan? And that gave the edge to Argentina a little bit, because before him coming on the pitch, before that number 5 central defensive midfielder, it was all Spain. Finally, some pushes here and there. Finally, some, rough element that we know Argentina for started happening.
This is what Argentina does. They get under your skin. They are known to cause some kind of problems every single time when you play. And honestly, that's the way when you play against a possession-based team. A team like Spain, who are known to keep the possession, who are known to join the dots, the juego de posición, the positional play that we talk often about, devised by Johan Cruyff, then again perfected by Pep Guardiola, now inflicted upon the team by Vicente, beg your pardon, Luis de la Fuente. And then you can see in today's game, the way the Argentinians were setting up, it was all haywire in the beginning. They needed somebody in the center of the park to be the general. And this is what Paredes does. So when Paredes came on, you could see a little bit of a momentum going towards Argentina. And then it was absolutely gone. That's how dominant Spain were. They took that little life that Argentina had when Paredes came on the pitch, the little momentum they had. They cut off every passing lane, every channel. Messi was man-marked by 2 people. Every single time he gets the ball, he was trying to get past Rodri, but then Rodri had a little bit of a shirt tuck. That's where his analytical mind comes in. He's a guy who plays his football through his head. His legs are his tools. That's the reason why he is over here winning the golden ball. This was such a great performance from Spain.
The minute Paredes came in, the pushing began. Temper started flaring here and there, and you knew, all right, now this is turning into a little bit of a final, because before that it was all Spain. And
as
let
you
me
said,
tell you,
Kabir, this
you gotta
was like
give
a
it to
tactical
Pedro
battle.
Porro and Cucurella. I mean, it wasn't the same for Tagliafico or Musial on the other end for Argentina. What Pedro Porro and Cucurella were doing, I mean, hats off to them. I think for me, the impact players were these 2 wingers.
Absolutely, they are better fullbacks. They are the best fullbacks in the FIFA World Cup, and I'll put up argument of Cucurella at the moment being the best fullback of the
I'll
past
tell you
years.
what,
We have been
ask some
talking about
Chelsea
Nuno
fan,
Mendes.
ask some Tottenham Hotspur fan, and they'll tell you a different story about Pedro Porro and Cucurella.
I'm pretty sure. But then look at the statistics of Pedro Porro. He was thrown into this World Cup mix, saying that Llorente is going to start ahead of him because Llorente felt like more of a complete fullback. But Pedro Porro, since he came on the right back position, he's joining the attack, giving in the assists, giving in the goals, some much needed important goals. And plus on top of that, look at his defensive traits. He was unbothered in today's game. Same can be said for Cucurella. The 2 centre backs, I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about Pau Cubarsí's World Cup campaign. They were relentless. And I'm blown away by the tactical acumen, a setup of Luis de la Fuente. It was so easy for them.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the game of France. In the France game, Spain played like they know what's going to happen every single moment, every single pass. That's when and where I knew that this team can go on and win the FIFA World Cup, because they were that good. And Argentina were never going to have an easy way around, so they had to go on with their naughtiness. As we all know that Argentina does that. They get under your skin. It couldn't happen. They failed today. And probably if they were like equivalence 11v11, it could happen that they might take this game to the penalty shootouts, and then it could be a totally different story. But then, as it has been said rightfully by Cruz, football won today.
Total dominance by Spain. Mr. Rawat, you see, a lot of times, and we've seen it from a very young time when Messi was part of Barcelona, after which, that sad emotional farewell when he started playing for Paris Saint-Germain. Then, of course, the MLS. And the Argentinian record speaks for itself, dragging this team to a 3rd final, bagging one last time in Qatar. A silent and a hiding Messi is usually the most lethal Messi. I witnessed that match live when Argentina took on Netherlands in the 2022 quarterfinal. And the first goal and the first ball for Molina, when you're sitting in the stadium and you're looking at all the 22 players, you can clearly see who's going to get this pass. You can see Angel Di Maria make a run to the other end, and you clearly see, okay, these are 2 options for Messi to pass. But to fool everybody in the stadium and, chalk a pass, thread a pass to somebody that you didn't even expect, that's the person that Messi is. And he can create those goals. And often when he's silent and when he's hiding between a flurry of players, you don't even know where he is standing, he'll come with the goods. But this time around, that really did not happen. Spain were very adept at, choking all the passes that were coming to the Magic Man.
And there's a stat, I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong, that in the first minute, I guess he just touched the ball once for first 15 minutes.
Yeah,
And
you're
it's
absolutely right. The first
yeah,
15
it,
minutes, and the first touch was the kickoff, was the game
a
starting.
kickoff. So you should, as other panelists are saying, you should just give the hats off to whatever Spain had in their head. And also about Messi, look, we should be blessed that he's still playing rather than he's losing a world. Look, he has lost a final, and this is what someone told me that when we used to criticize Sachin for getting out on 1995, 96, 88, and then someone told us that are you not ashamed of criticizing Sachin that he has made 88 and then he has got out. So he has played the World Cup final at this age, and hats off. To him, his fitness, his acumen. We all know that everyone says that he thinks two moves ahead of everyone. The kind of passes, the kind of moves that he makes, and the kind of plays that he sees possible when none is there. So we should be very blessed that he's still playing. And though I don't think that that he will play the next World Cup. And also, that's the basic difference between Portugal's Ronaldo and Argentina's Messi is that Portugal didn't have that belief in Ronaldo. They knew that when you give a ball to Ronaldo, whatever he is doing, they can do much better than him. And the kind of frustration on the faces of the Portugal player, you could see them. But with Messi, you could see so much of still his team trust him. His teams really cherish the moment that they are playing with him, and they know that he will come up with something extraordinary. Because everyone knows that he's a great gifted a player, and he has proved this. So I think we should be all blessed. We should be very happy that Argentina and Messi gave us a chance, and that India shares a kind of cultural similarity with Argentina, and we have a lot of fan following of Argentina. God knows why, but yeah, that's I mean, I was very happy to just see him in the final and the kind of moves that he made and the kind of impact he had on Argentina. So he was just not a liability; he was really an asset.
All right. Shamik, for the first time, there was a halftime show also. Let's not take credit away from that halftime show. Usually, you get a break. When it's halftime, people go outside, maybe buy another beer. And that's the kind of thing that happens in a halftime. But this halftime was something totally different. I mean, I think it really encapsulated the imagination of all the viewers. It was really great. It started with Madonna. I mean, I would have liked Ronaldinho sitting next to some other player. You had both the Brazilians that were driving that car when Madonna was singing. But after Madonna, you had Ted Lasso. You had, the entire halftime show. Look at some of those pictures. Chris Martin, he's the curator for all of this. So it had to be a great show. What was your takeaway from, the halftime show? Shakira's dancing. You had Coach Ted Lasso, Justin Bieber with his guitar, Hallelujah, right in the middle. Amazing, amazing performance, needless to say, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think the halftime show, first time ever in a World Cup for again for the conventional fans who have been watching football regularly. The 15-minute break does not necessarily turn out into this, but it was, I would say, a different experience for us. The visuals of
I'm sorry, I
US,
was thinking it
yeah.
was such a good show. Maybe, in the Spanish dressing room, in the Argentinian dressing room, they were also probably not focusing on the pep talk so much, but looking at the television screen because the production quality was so great.
Yeah, it did. For me, the best moment was when Ted Lasso, the Coach
Yeah.
Lasso with Coach Beard, they came together and they just
Yeah, that was a good one.
went on with Belieber. Come on, let's go. It's your time. So for me, that was the best moment. But altogether, I think it was one of the spectacles of this entire World Cup. They have been loading it for some time. They have been sharing the build up to this, and it all comes down to all the even I show speed there. One of the streamers who just had an incredible journey from his studio apartment where he had like three or
Yeah.
four viewers to coming to this stage where he was performing for the entire world
Maybe we'll
in
see
front of a
Talk
global
Football
audience.
HD soon, opening one of these shows or closing one of these shows soon. Who
Let's hope.
knows? Who
Let's
knows?
hope. We can wrap. We can
Yeah.
wrap.
Yeah, the both of you. All right, all
We
right.
can try to wrap.
Let's
I guess
talk a
some
little
can
bit more
dance.
football and then maybe we'll give the mic to you, quote unquote. But you see, Shamik,
Yeah.
let's throw some light on Cubarsí. Let's not take credit away from him. He got the FIFA Young Player Award. I think before this match, in a World Cup final, you had Pele, who had played. Another great generation leader is Mbappe, who was a teenager who played. One more Italian player, I'm not remembering the name at this point in time. If you guys can help me, that'll be great. So you essentially had just 3 teenage players in the World Cup finals. And this time around, you had 2. You had Lamine Yamal and you had Cubarsí. And Cubarsí, what a boy what a fine player this boy is turning into.
Absolutely, absolutely, Kabir. I think if he would have been stepped up and then just announced the player of the tournament, there would have been a few eyebrows, but I would have taken it. The boy is phenomenal at
Zishan does not
19
agree with
years of
that.
age.
Zishan does not agree with that.
I'll speak about that later.
Yeah. When they announced the golden ball, the cameras were cutting to Lionel Messi. It's as if everybody thought, okay, he's lost, but let's just still give him, the golden ball. Anyway, Shamik, please complete your thoughts.
So at 19 years of age, you are in the starting lineup of the biggest game on this planet. I think we were discussing on our stream as well, where we had a discussion like what Fabio Cannavaro did in that 2006 season, his stats, which led him to eventually winning him the Ballon d'Or. If we put this Cubarsí performance of the World Cup, it could be equivalent or even better than that. And to do all of that at 19 years of age, boy oh boy, this is special. I think it'll take a generation to happen something like this ever again.
Seeing the next Vidic, are we seeing the next Carlos Puyol, the next Sergio Ramos in the shape of Pau Cubarsí, the one who's actually going to, I think Laporte had a great and an easy time because he had such a great defending partner with him.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think when there's a footage of Sergio Ramos when there's a tackle of Enzo on Cubarsí, I guess, when Sergio Ramos is in the stands, like, oh come on, what is happening? So that is again, I think he found the Sergio Ramos on the pitch who could not play. But I think this is a legacy of Pau Cubarsí himself. He's the first Pau Cubarsí to be standing there, and he has made an easy job, not for just his partner at American Laporte, who himself was phenomenal. We had a lot of people commenting on a regular basis that they are blessed that they could see Emerick Laporte at 33 ball this much. But we have seen him since the Manchester City days. We know how good of a player he is. And all of them coming together with a well-coached under De La
It
Fuente.
was a heartwarming moment. You had David Villa who was getting in. Every other move, you had Xavi Hernandez who was, trying to get up. And they were all really excited. It's as if, they were right there on the sidelines, not sitting in the VIP boxes. Yamal ka Kamal, we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Let's play a reaction from a Spanish fan. We've got a reaction from a Spanish fan. This is just after the match. Let's listen into what the Spanish fan had to say.
This is the greatest thing ever. We've been waiting for this for 16 years, ever since I was a little girl. I was 8 years old when we won last time. I've watched every match, Spain's matches, the other ones that weren't Spain. I've experienced them like they're the greatest thing ever. Long live in Spain. We're world champions.
Zishan, let's again look at that exact moment, that foul, that red card for Enzo Fernandez. Across the tournament, people have been saying, the memes that have been doing the rounds. Infantino and Lionel Messi, whether Infantino is a baby or Lionel Messi is a baby, the truth is that Lamine Yamal was a baby when, Messi did that photo shoot with him. But the memes, although some of them were a little funny, and after the Egypt game, after the Cabo Verde game, those memes and the frequency of the memes also went up. WhatsApp groups fighting it out, abusives, everywhere. I mean, it's as if, people had Argentinian and Portuguese Aadhaar cards with them. That's how they were fighting.
True.
But do you think that was a foul? Do you think that was a justified second yellow? Or Cubarsí is also a really great gymnast?
Well, no, that is a red card day in and day out. I mean, there are lots of slanders and controversies building up around Argentina. Some of them are all right. Those are just false. Talk about the tackle in that Egypt game. That was not going to be a foul on Mo Salah. I mean, Mo Salah did not protest for that. But this foul that happened on Pau Cubarsí, that was absolutely a red card. It was given as a second yellow. I might as well have given it as a direct red card, So definitely this was a very right decision, and this is where the decision split. And Enzo Fernandez knew what he was doing. He was already on a very stupid yellow card before for arguing with the referee. You cannot do that. I mean, you let your emotion get to your head. You cannot be that stupid to just bail out at the referee, shouting, screaming. And the referee is gonna, of course, he's a human. He demands to be respected. He's there conducting the whole FIFA World Cup.
You're talking about the first yellow. You're talking about the first yellow. That first yellow was unnecessary.
Unnecessary. So that was the one moment, and where he got that stupid yellow card, and after that he had to step into the tackle. Maybe he could have went a bit low. Maybe he couldn't have made that contact. Well, that was a very awkward fall for Cubarsí. And let me tell you, Kabir, I'm a huge Barcelona fan. I've been to Barcelona 4 times. I've been in the Camp Nou. I've cried at the Camp Nou. I love these boys. Cubarsí might as well have given him the golden ball. I don't care. I would absolutely stand up and applaud that guy because he's a monster. I've been watching him since the day he debuted for Barcelona. It's been more than 3 years, and he has been winning everything. There are a lot of hate and toxicity coming towards the guy when he got that red card in the Champions League.
Yeah.
And then people were like, no, he's not ready. He's too young. He's spoiled. Look at him now. He's playing as a veteran of 29.
Yeah.
He's only 19.
A very
So
mature
again, I'm
performance.
absolutely proud of the way they stepped up in today's game. But yes, the decision today by the referee to send Enzo Fernandez was spot on.
It was spot on. So good refereeing. In the final, you had very accurate refereeing. And you know, that second goal for Ferran Torres, it was offside, and the digital technology showed you the exact margin. And even before the technology came in, I think kudos to the linesman because he raised the flag, way well in advance. So, I mean, still the eye is doing a better job than that very immaculate technology that we have. Mr. Rawat, you see, we've got visuals of the players, cutting in the nets. Sometimes when you win the Cricket World Cup, they take the stumps back home, but there you just have the 6 stumps. You have a huge goal net over here to cut and take home. Maybe all 22 players can get a portion of that. Why does that happen? I mean, do they still want to stay close to that moment that they won on the pitch? Help us get inside these players. These are very young players. It's not the end of the road for them. I mean, Messi doing something like that, it's still understandable. But for them,
Look, I mean, taking a souvenir from the final is always something that you want to cherish, and you want to tell these are the stories that you want to tell your grandchildren that, I was there when this happened. I still remember, I mean, 2 incidences. When I was in US, there was, Nowitzki had won NBA that time, and I was there in the in the basketball court. Because I myself had played university basketball, so I was a huge fan of Michael Jordan. I mean, so I just went there to see the final, and everyone wanted the way they just took the net from the basketball ring. And also when Sachin scored his first century in, I think it was in Indore, and I was or Gwalior. I mean, I still have that mud from the pitch over there, so that And today also, when I tell my kids, when Sachin scored his first double century, this is the pitch that he was playing. Though that time it was a hard, solid rock pitch. Now it has become mud. But these are the souvenirs that you want with you always.
absolutely right. I think, and this night is something that's something that these young players will never, ever forget. But Mr. Rawat, if I could ask you, what was your favorite moment of the game? And look, even as we talk about it, we've got those visuals, the players cutting in, chopping in those nets. But your favorite moment, Mr. Rawat, from the entire game?
Um, it would be very though I was waiting for some excellent magical moment from Messi, which didn't come. But I won't say a very great moment to remember. But the red card. I mean, both the panelists that are sitting over here, my knowledge of football is zilch when compared to both these gentlemen. But that was absolutely foolish to argue with a referee and get a yellow card. I mean, for God's sake, you are not playing a boxing match. It's a team, and the impact that your performance or your
Yeah.
violation has on the team is very important for you to understand. And I think it really had a very bad impact on it.
Important moment. You're absolutely right, Mr. Rawat. You see, Enzo Fernandez, now that we're talking about that red card, it's important because Messi was carrying the team earlier. This time around, Enzo Fernandez was carrying Messi. He let Messi do his job because Enzo Fernandez was so good at what he was doing. He was absolutely important for this team. Imagine Cucurella in Chelsea. Imagine Enzo Fernandez in Chelsea. And they're not the same players. Pedro Porro and Tottenham Hotspur, they're not the same players. And again, warrants that question, whether these are bad players or they had a really awful season last time around in English football. Then you had McAllister in the centre half. You had Rodri. You had another Liverpool versus Manchester City going on. You had Chelsea going on. You had Chelsea versus Tottenham going on. You had Arsenal, midfielder Merino, who came in later on. A lot of Monday night football. I'm again going to that. A lot of Monday night football. But looking at Enzo Fernandez, That card was absolutely unnecessary in the beginning. I think he let the team down, and which is why he was so sad and dejected later on. But Shamik, talking about Emi Martinez, let's not take any credit away from him as well. He could have very well gotten the golden glove. It's just that Argentina conceded too many goals. He kept them in the game. He kept them going. 0 shots from Argentina, about 13, 14 shots, many of them on target. Even Cubarsí coming in with a shot. And that was one of those, real nice long range strikes. Emi Martinez, he continued to stand tall. Let's throw some light on Emi Martinez for a while.
Absolutely phenomenal, Kabir. I think it should not be compared
God bless
against
you,
the
Mr. Rawat.
performance
God
that he
bless you.
had in 2022. Back in 2022, he had a phenomenal. I think he was also doing the carry job in the goalkeeper department. But this time around, probably not his best World Cup performances. But I think he kept it for the last when it mattered the most. I think he made 11 saves today. 11 saves where relatively, I think 7 or 8 of them were easy to grasp in terms of goalkeepers, but 3 or 4 were really
Oh
difficult.
my
He
goodness,
did
that free
put them.
kick. Did we talk about that free kick? That free kick right in the
Absolutely
end. I mean, Peter Drury said that he had
phenomenal
to travel a lot. I don't think he had to travel a lot, but it was a very good shot. The entire class of
positioning.
2010
Yeah.
was standing on their feet.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me to just witness a 19-year-old Lamine Yamal taking the time and age to just set up the free kick, set up the wall, and the wall did its job as well. But again, you'll have to go past a very tall and a World Cup winner, Emi Martinez, to defy those odds. And again, a good save. Like I said, 11 saves coming from him. He made sure that Argentina was in the game. But like I said, I think the goal that Ferran just it took away the momentum from Argentina. But in individual perspective, this was the game from Emi Martinez that he could have delivered.
Yeah. Nico Williams' header. You had a couple of shots coming in from Ferran Torres as well. Emi Martinez coming in with the goods. But Zishan, on the other hand, why no shots scored from Argentina's sides? Why no shots for 90 minutes? No shots. I mean, that's blasphemous. For a team that's been scoring 2.17 xg, not a single shot on target. What was stopping them? And no Lautaro Martinez also later on.
See, there were a lot of forced substitutions, first of all, because of Lisandro Martinez's early on injury. He had to be subbed out for another defender. That's when Otamendi came in. And later on, there was another unfortunate injury to Cuti Romero. Because of that, another centre-back had to come in. So two of the substitutions were already gone. They were forced. So that's when probably Lionel Scaloni realized that he doesn't have any more substitutions left. And the one, I believe, the mistake substitution that he made was to take off Montiel, who was playing really well at that point of time, at least start bit defensive. But adding on a Molina, that did not really help. If you watch the last 3-4 matches for Argentina, the way they have conceded the goals, Sidney Lopez Cabral scored from that right flank of Argentina through Molina's side, and then after that Molina was subbed off. You would see the last game in which Anthony Gordon scored the goal, it came through the Molina side. Obviously, albeit the cross came in from the left side position, but it was finished off on the right side of the Molina side. Today as well, you could see he was beaten thoroughly, 1v1 duels. It was reckless, that substitution. And apart from that, you see how well Spain set up, and this is the mastery of Spain. Before we begin into talking about what went down, we have to understand that Spain are the best defensive side in this team in this whole FIFA World Cup.
Unbeaten run, now at 38 games.
Exactly.
38 games.
You talk about the least XG per game conceded. This is incredible that a team has gone on to a World Cup in playing 8 matches and they have only conceded an expected goal against, which is a measure of the opportunity, the shot quality of the opposition.
Who was that team that scored against Spain?
That was
Portugal?
Belgium. And that was Belgium, and that was Charles de Ketelaere of all players. Spain faced up against the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, Rafael Leao, Joao Felix. They did not concede. It was shut. They faced up against the likes of France, Kylian Mbappe, Ousmane Dembele, and all of those lads who were burning the whole pitches. And then they came up against Argentina, and now they conceded the goal through Belgium. See, do not take anything away from the positional discipline of the players in the midfield. Talk about Rodri's positioning. That's the reason why he's just so elite. Talk about Fabian Ruiz, and of course, since the moment Pedri came on, it was done. Pedri was running circles. His performance since he came on in the last hour, he created 4 chances. That's the most that anybody has done on the pitch. So the defensive astuteness of this team, and it's all about the team. We keep on talking about football as a game. It's a game of 11 players on the pitch. Yes, definitely once in a while a player can bail you out, and Messi has done that for Argentina innumerable number of times, but he can only do so many times. This was the time that he needed the help, and they did not arrive. And even Leo
Yeah.
Messi was coming up short in today's game. It needed to be a team effort, and that team was only Spain. And they defended everything and they waited very perfectly for the moment it arrived. Patience rewarded Spain the win.
You see, ever since I started playing football from a very young age, I always thought that, considering I myself played the midfield position, you needed flair on the wings, you needed, a selfish striker up front. But in the midfield, you see the holistic view. You have to run back as well. It's a box-to-box setup. And I always thought this has to be 11 people playing chess, thinking about the same move at the same time, and some of that silky smooth passing also came through. Goal nahi ho paye, goal nahi pad paye, but some of that silky smooth passing did come through. We've been at it for the last 40 minutes. We'll continue talking about this. Let's take a quick commercial breather here. There are 2-3 other aspects that we do need to talk about. Let's talk about the Spain team's composition when we come back. Many of them, are they really, children of immigrants who had come there later on, not born as proper, Spanish people? Yes, Mr. Rawat, do you want to come in?
So I just wanted to apologize that after the break, maybe I would not be able to join you because today I have a very important meeting about Commonwealth Games. I mean, that's also another sport that we have to start.
That's
Yeah.
absolutely
So,
understood.
so
That's
I would really
absolutely understood, Mr.
thank
Rawat.
everyone on the panel. And we just hope that the kind of excitement and this FIFA World Cup has made, as you said, I mean, everyone enjoyed watching this World Cup. It has got a very good impact. And as a nation, as a sports person, myself, and a sports journalist, I wish that we had more to contribute on this football World Cup rather than eyeballs. So we just hope something good comes out.
I think this is the
there.
right segue for us to introduce that and say that
Yeah.
Minerva FC, they've won the Helsinki Cup and now they won the Gothia Cup as well. These are under 12 boys.
I'm
And
sorry,
let's
but
hope that good
I
things.
mean you should have seen the age group of the other teams before we get into that. So I mean, not everything that is shown on social media is as good as it seems, and something is happening over there. But just you can't. All I think that you can't go to support Indian football team by wearing t-shirts of Messi or Ronaldo. You have to wear your own
That's a
heroes. You
good
have
one.
to
Yes, exactly.
encourage them. So, I mean, there are many flaws in that, but thank you for having me. And both of you gentlemen, you really enrich my knowledge of football. Thank you for having me on the
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Rawat. Are two very important voices when it comes to Indian football and Indian football content creation. We have Talk Football HD in the house. Many thanks, Zishan. Many thanks, Shamik, for taking out the time and continuing to be with us. I'm again mentioning this here because I do want the viewers to know that I know so many reels that have to be done and cut up, so many post-match productions that have to happen, and you guys are still awake. It's been a horrendous, World Cup when it comes to timings for Indian football fans. 4:30 a.m., 6:30 a.m., 2:30 a.m. I mean, people in Portugal must be sleeping, but Ronaldo and CR7 fans and Messi fans are here, awake with dark circles under their eyes, but they continue to watch matches. And kudos to you guys as well. Immaculate content. I don't want the viewers to know what, Zishan's mother has to say for Oyarthabal, what she calls him particularly. But, it's been nevertheless a great tournament, but not so great timing for us.
Absolutely. Very, very true. It was very difficult to follow the game. I've seen so many people, like you talk about students who are going to the classes, like they have their colleges and everything, and people who are working in offices, they
Yeah.
have to get up in the morning, they have to pack their bags, they have to leave for offices.
You're telling
And
me, Zishan, you're telling me watching the match,
No, absolutely.
riding it up till 5 a.m., then coming here for
Exactly.
another show. But hey, anything, all's fair if in football.
Absolutely. See, that's the thing. For us, like we are content creators, and this is our job to do. So, come what may, we will do this, whatever time it is. But for the people who actually took time out of their life, apart from the other stuff that they were doing, this is a huge win for them. And I will pay my respect to all of those people who have spent all of those time watching the World Cup. And we all can sit together and say what a freaking ride this was. Absolutely proud of being a part of this community. And huge shout out to all the football supporters who have followed us in this journey.
Shamik, since you're the co-content creator, were there times when you were like, look, man, I'm not so interested. It's not even my team's match. Brazil is not playing. Spain is not playing. But I've got to sit and do this watch along with you, Zishan.
No, I think this is where the insect or the kida in us of football it just takes over everything. Even it is like a Turkey versus Australia game, you would want to see
Yeah.
what Irakunda story can be or what a Kinani Ildiz or Arda Güler story can be. So every game was like we'll go in with the same gusto because a lot of people again they want to watch, let's say, a Turkey or an Australia game. They are also coming and joining
104
Top Football
matches.
HD.
Did you guys cover
Yeah.
all of that?
We
Yes.
actually missed just two watch-alongs of those games. Otherwise, the other matches we were live on every single one of them. I remember doing a watch-along of Paraguay game in the morning at 9:30 a.m. and I was like, "What the hell am I doing even here, sitting?" But then since Shamik joined in our studios, it was quite an easy ride because both of us were able to discuss our thoughts, we were able to share our loads, and we were able to cover. And as soon as the knockouts hit, it became kind of easy. And there came a point of time as well where we were missing. You know what? I do miss the group stage. A random 2:30 a.m. Panama England kickoff is all I need at the moment in my life.
Shamik?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the same thing goes. The last game that we 10:30 a.m. was the one which ideally was the last pinpoint that was like, oh my God, 10:30 it starts, 12:30 it is ending. It can go till 1 if you talk to folks around 1:30. Then you have to shoot a lot of stuff goes in production as well.
Yeah.
So overall, I would say yeah. For me, there was an oath ceremony that we did on our channel where we took an oath that the final for this World Cup, when after Brazil got knocked out, should be the finalissima. So for me, this World Cup is a success. So even if I had sleepless nights, I am happy. I am happy.
This new change, do you think it's here to stay? A new round of 32 that happens, more teams, more excitement? Because for many out there, some of the group stage games, they were like, nah, you know what, we'll just watch the highlights for this one.
Oh, so this is something I think they should stop at 48. This is my 2 cents
Yeah,
on this thought.
please.
On this, the number of teams on if with 48 in the
Yeah.
bank, I think
Think
they
about
should
the
just
content
stop.
creators also,
Random
please. Think
42.
about the football fans. Let's just stop at 48.
Please.
Yeah, yeah. Because again, there is a narrative of the quality of football, which was again discussed when the numbers rose from 32 to 48 altogether. So if there's a discussion of 48 to 64, again that narrative will go very strong, and there'll be. We saw a lot of players getting injured as well because of the number of games that they are playing. So we have to take that into consideration, a balance of players' health as well, and in the number of games that they are playing throughout the season. So
Yeah.
48 is the sweet spot. I think it shouldn't go beyond that.
Fair enough, fair enough. Understood. You see, even as we're flashing these lines about Argentina's night to forget, there was another thing that happened at night in Buenos Aires. There was a lot of stone pelting that happened. I don't know if you guys know about that. We'll show some of those visuals as well. These are visuals from Buenos Aires. People out there on the streets. I mean, it would have been nothing different had they picked up the World Cup. But now that they lost it, seems like, I mean, that unruliness, I don't want to like pinpoint that particularly, but when I was in Qatar as well in 2022, it was Argentinians who had taken over the entire Doha, Corniche and the entire line there. Even here, you have the riot gear and the police that are out there. I think that's the reason why, this entire nation that lives and breathes on football, that's why this essentially happens. What do you have to say about this, Dishan? I mean, like, anger, frustration, what is this? How does one look at
See,
this as a football fan? Because when you talk about hooliganism, when you talk about the ultras, there comes a little sense of violence. But
See,
this
nothing
larger crowd,
justifies this, Kabir. Nothing justifies this. I'm a football fan, obviously, I support Argentina, but when they would go on and do this, obviously your heart is like, no, 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 that should not be happening. I cannot find a single reason that if they lost, if they won, nothing needs to happen for you to actually go on and do this. And while I say that, I also have to talk about what happened in the post game. You could see Paredes lashing on to Gavi. There was a fighting involved. I definitely condemn that as well. If you lose, you lose. You go out. Be a respectful loser. So you could see what the standards of Lionel Messi were. After the loss, he was standing there alone, and the other players were fighting around. But what is going on over here in Buenos Aires is no good. It doesn't do anything good about football over there in the country. Obviously, it's a country that is thriving because of the successes of with football. They are put on the mantle because of what Diego Armando Maradona, Mario Kempes, Passarella, and all of these Batistuta and now Lionel Messi have been doing. To do this, these images to be shown to the global audience, it's absolutely very sad.
Many thanks for that opinion. Shamik, would you like to throw some light on this? And then we'll again come back for final comments before we close this up.
Yeah,
This has been a great
I
FIFA
think
segment. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think personally, when we were in Qatar back in 2022, we were surrounded by Argentinians where we were living, and we had the time of our lives there. There was always an invitation to an open party there. They were barbecuing stuff. So for me, the perspective of Argentinians is a very cordial and a very friendly demeanor that they put in. There's always this inviting feature that they have that that you'll enjoy. We danced with them. I was a Brazil supporter. I think I had a jersey of Brazil also. There were a few banters here and there, but again, we all just came together, danced, and enjoyed every bit of it. But like Zishan said, I strongly again condemned whatever this was, the hooliganism. There's no place for these things in football. And even on the pitch, when Paredes was manhandling Gavi, I think he got the deserved red card.
All right, let's shift our focus back to the match-winning moment. I'm going to, ask some rapid-fire questions to the both of you so that we understand. First and foremost, the impact player. Who was your impact player, Zishan?
The impact player in this game, I believe that was Rodri altogether.
And for you, Shamik?
I think Nico.
Nico
Nico
Williams.
Williams.
Nico Williams and Rodri, two impact players. Nobody is talking about Ferran Torres. I mean, he's the guy who
He scored the
goal.
He scored the winner. He's
scored the
getting the
goal.
plaudits
Yeah.
already.
And by the way, a direct volley from this close with Emi Martinez right in your face, left footer. I think that's if all of us here have played football, we all know exactly how difficult that is in the first place. One word to describe the Spanish performance, Zishan.
Breathtaking.
Okay.
I
Shamik?
think it's I would say simple football.
Simple football. All right then. Shamik, I'll start with you this time around. The better World Cup winning team, 2010 or 2026?
Oh, I'm a nostalgia guy. I'm in my late 20s. I would go for 2010.
Oh, that Fabregas chip to David Villa and then
Yes.
David Villa puts it right in the corner. Great team, great team. For
Absolutely,
you,
absolutely.
Zishan?
Well, in terms of performance, like I said, the teams that they face and with the relative ease with which this team has beaten, I'll go
Yeah.
with purely performance basis this side, but then
Okay.
nothing beats that iconic 2010.
Okay. Player of the tournament, do you agree? Rodri, Zishan?
Well, yes, I would have preferred Messi to win it, but I do understand the context that Rodri was throughout the whole tournament the cornerstone
Okay.
that Spanish team needed, and I'm totally satisfied with that.
Okay.
He was
Shamik?
incredible.
I think I was looking at the criterias for how you are selected for the golden ball, and I think most of the parameters for me were in favor of Messi. But I think it was the final trophy that put Rodri's
Okay.
name up. Now, for me, it was Lionel Messi.
All right, my final question. We don't know whether this is the beginning of another Spanish dynasty or not. Another 4 years, we'll understand, or maybe the Euros 2 years from now. But both of your prediction for Ballon d'Or this year. First, you, Zishan.
Well, I don't know. At the moment, you've got so many names. There's Harry Kane, there's Ulisse, there's Lamine Yamal as well. Might as well give it to Cubarsí with that phenomenal performance. If Rodri had this whole season, as a City player, because he was injured for a long time, he
Yeah,
just came
yeah.
back at the very end. He was there at the very beginning. He was not having a very good season.
Pick one,
But then
pick
this
one, pick one, pick
humongous
one, pick one.
Performance. Wait, well, as of now, right at the moment, I'll go with Lamine Yamal.
Okay, Lamine Yamal. Shamik.
Oh, my days. I would just go out of the context. I think I have seen Mikel Merino, what he has done at Arsenal, and they have won the Premier League as well.
Mikel
I've
Merino,
seen
add that
Mikel
name
Merino-
to the list. Wow,
Exactly.
wow. Cringe. Zishan's
man.
cringing on the other hand. You see, Spain have reminded the footballing world that talent may win matches, but identity wins championship. A new generation has arrived. The second star now shines on the Spanish jersey. And somewhere between Lionel Messi and his heartbreak and Lamine Yamal's celebration, football has witnessed one era make way for another. That's all we have on In Your Interest and this special FIFA segment. Many thanks, Talk Football HT, with content creator Zishan Khan and co-content creator Shamik Ansari, and of course Mr. Rawat, who was with us. Many thanks, gentlemen, for taking on the time. I hope we get to do this more often, talk about football, keep that football conversation going. Many thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.